So with our game, our main focus is just having the arcade and gameplay as polished as it can be.
Right, right.
Some may say the story is a bit of a side thing, but we don't want to be the main focus.
Mhm,
So while the story will be there, it's going to be a pretty short one.
mhm.
Game, the campaign goes for around 1 hour or so, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, we try to focus on just making the gameplay fun. That's
Mhm.
that's our main thing.
I think it's always important. Like gameplay is
Hmm,
king. If you don't have solid gameplay, it doesn't matter what else you have. Like you can have pretty graphics, you can have all of this other stuff. If the gameplay sucks,
exactly.
the game sucks. Like
Yeah.
we were
We
talking
definitely want to avoid that. So
we were talking about the AAA games before, and I think a lot of games sort of fall into that where you see a lot of big marketing material about, hey, look at our face animations, look at our lighting. Hey,
mm,
look, you can see their toes. Like,
it just
okay,
makes you think, God dang, I'm gonna have to get the next graphics card up, aren't I?
yep, yep. Whenever a game, I always have a lot of respect for a developer where the trailer is the game. Like, there's no CG trailer. There's nothing like, it's just like, here, game, enjoy. Here's 20 minutes of raw gameplay footage. If you like it, you'll play it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a bit tricky.
Mhm,
Like, personally, as like a consumer myself with
mhm,
games, seeing trailers that just show gameplay, it's not very enticing. But I can also see the appeal behind it because like
mhm.
it shows you what the game is.
Right, right.
But I still feel like that's I guess a bit of a cinematic does help in a way.
Mhm.
Like, oh yeah, like, a perfect example I saw of this was beats per minute actually.
Mm.
Like it shows the best of both. Like it incorporates music and gameplay as well.
Mhm.
So they made the trailer full on performance.
Here it is.
Oh, bullets per minute, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
bullets per minute. That's the one.
Uh, yes, yes, yes. I know this game. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
yeah,
pretty good
yeah.
one.
Okay, yeah, I do know this one. Right. I don't think I ever got around to playing that one.
It's pretty fun. Give it a shot.
It definitely looks fun. Right. This was the rhythm game shooter.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
like with
Yes.
the trailer, it's like full on incorporates like the gameplay
Mhm.
into a cinematic, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I can see the value in that as well. I'd certainly get that. What I sort of mean is the games where that, especially when it's a one of the like yearly release games where they just release like,
Yeah.
here is a 3 minute cinematic. There's no gameplay. There's nothing. It's just like, we know you're gonna buy it. We don't even need to tell you what the game is anymore. Like, I get it, right? Like it's cool to make, and I
Oh
no.
yeah, those ones I agree with you on that. Like definitely includes some form of gameplay at least.
Mhm. And like, absolute respect to the artists and the animators and like the sound people. They usually make something that looks really, really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you were paying attention to back then, but I remember when the first Cyberpunk 2077 trailer came out, or like the cinematic teaser.
I do remember that. Everyone was hyped up about it.
Yeah,
And then I just thought to myself, where's the gameplay?
yeah. For anyone who doesn't remember, I think it was just like a girl sitting on the ground, and that was the entire thing. It's like cyberpunk. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I think I remember this, like when I first heard about it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna check it out and have a look at their previous videos. And I saw like one of the very earliest
Mhm,
trailers
mhm,
for it. And I think it was just like a close up of a blade of some sort, and then it said the title. I'm like,
mhm,
oh, okay.
mhm, mhm. But I think of games like Black Myth Wukong is a really good example of a game that it doesn't need a cinematic. It's had cinematic trailers, but like now they usually just put out like his gameplay. I think the game is just about to come out like very soon. Um,
Uh-huh.
I have you seen anything about that game?
No, I haven't actually.
It's a Souls-like game with a Chinese mythology aesthetic.
Oh, yeah, that does sound familiar actually. Now that you mention it,
Mhm.
yeah.
You play as like Uh, what? Wukong's in the name. You play as Wukong, the character that like Goku was based off of. Monkey dude. He has like
Oh.
a extendable pole. Um, so it's just the Chinese mythology part. It doesn't go the Dragon Ball route, which it completely forgets that it was ever based off of that. But yeah, it's like very fast paced, and they've shown off like really cool tech. Like when you walk through the snow, it creates a path through the snow. All that's cool looking, but
Yeah, that is kind of cool, I guess.
it
But
is really, especially like when they first showed it off, because it was one of the games that was shown off back when the PS5 was first coming out. So it was like,
oh,
wow, look at this. Look what we can do with this hardware sort of situation.
yeah, it's good to see. Like, while it is more focused on just the graphics and not the gameplay, it's still good to see the improvements that they can do in the technology
Mhm.
and like what they can do with it as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of of two minds about like the improvement of artistic quality, because I feel like a lot of
Mm.
games rely too heavily on like that realistic look, and we've lost a
Yeah.
lot of games having very memorable art styles.
Yeah, I definitely feel that too. That's part of the reasons why we try to get like that PlayStation 2 look in our game.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did notice that. Um, like I think it obviously it's not the you know a, a lot of people confuse artistic fidelity with artistic quality, right? Like I think this game looks good
Oh, thank
with
you.
its like the style it's going for. It's not
Mhm.
trying to look like some realistic. It's not trying to look like some. It's not Forza, right? Like it's not trying to look
Definitely not trying to be like Forza.
but like it has a style that it's going for, and I think like how I was saying, like gameplay is king, like style is king as well. Like a game
Mm,
that has a
definitely.
great style. I have what's it? PS2, PS1 game actually. Rayman. There we go.
Oh
Like
yes, Rayman, a
Rayman
classic.
still looks incredible, right?
Yeah.
Or actually, I think an even better example is like Super Mario 64, where it, if you look at it fidelity wise, frankly looks terrible. It has very, very low
Mm,
poly models. However, if you see a screenshot from Super Mario 64, you can immediately tell where that is from, because that game has such
exactly.
a an iconic look to it that you always know where it's from. But if I show you a
Yeah.
screenshot of generic first person shooter, like
It's hard to tell which game
yeah.
it's from and such.
Yeah, when we've lost all style,
Mm.
it's really hard to tell like what is what. And I think the indie game scene is like what keeps this alive, right? Like
Oh,
there
exactly.
are, and I think it's also it's like limitation breeds creativity. When you have effectively infinite resources, you can make a game that looks realistic and
Yeah.
has realistic lip flaps and all that stuff. But when it's three dudes who just want to make a cool game, you have to really think about what you're actually going to do with it. It makes you actually consider what is it that we want our game to look like, and what is it we want our game to actually do.
Yeah, that's true. Like, sure, we could just go the realistic route and just get 3D models online of like generic cars and put
Mhm,
them into our game. But we didn't want that for our game. We just wanted it to be distinct
mhm,
and custom made to us as we see fit.
mhm,
So yeah, part of that style as well. Like I said, the PlayStation 2 look, right?
mhm,
We go for that look because it's also nostalgic in a way, and like allows us to relive playing those classic Demolition Derby games like on the PlayStation 2 era.
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't really get that with photorealism.
no. It's honestly why I play. Honestly, I tend to play a lot more indie games than I do really most of the AAA games that come out. Like the last, I think, what was the last game that considered AAA that I actually played? I
F- for me personally, it would have been Automata.
yes, that's really good.
Yeah,
But
That one's good.
but that's an example of a game that has a big budget but they tried to do something that actually is very unique. Like, it has a weird art style. It has very weird. If you pay attention,
It's definitely got style, that's for sure.
like, if you pay a lot of attention to how they frame shots, there was a lot of weird use of camera angles where in any other game, like, there's so many cutscenes in that game where it's just basically set up like a 2D side scroller. It's just out of nowhere. You're like, okay, it's 2D side scroller now. That's cool. And like,
I love how they did that. I was like, oh, this is a change of pace.
or like when you're in the base area where it's this giant ring, like it's like the first time you go in there, like it's such a weird feeling, and I think it's just always gonna stick with you.
It's definitely memorable, that's for sure.
Now that I think about it, I think the last AAA game I played, Sekiro. Sekiro's really good.
What's that game about?
That's the samurai game made by From Software.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
I haven't played Elden Ring yet. I need to do that.
I haven't had a chance to play Elden Ring. It looks pretty good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.